Hi and welcome to AFTV and welcome to another AFTV React show. And today we're going to be talking about the re-signing of Mikel Arteta, his extension on his deal. He's signed a 3-year extension. We're going to chop it up. Rob, how are you first? You good?
Yeah, good man.
Yeah,
good.
Happy to see him re-sign.
Yeah. Well, let's get into that. We're going to get into that. But first of all, let me read what's been announced this morning. It came out this morning on Arsenal's website. It says, we're delighted to announce that Mikel Arteta and Jonas Eidevall have signed new contracts. Jonas Eidevall, of course, is the manager of the women's team. So he signed a new contract as well. The women's team have had a good season, still got a chance of winning the league. It all comes down to this weekend. Arsenal, I think, have got West Ham. Chelsea, who are a point above them, have got Man United at home. But even before that outcome of that, they've decided to give him a new contract. Same with Mikel Arteta, as we know. Arsenal chasing down a chance to get into the Champions League in the top 4. And this is what the statement that they put out on the website, arsenal.com, said. And it's got quotes from Mikel Arteta where he says, I'm excited, grateful and really, really happy today after signing an extension that runs till the end of the 2024-25 season. So just as Cecil just said there, a 3-year extension to his contract. I'll read a couple of his quotes. He says, when I spoke to Josh, he could see the club at the same point and he wanted to take the club the way I wanted to do it. So everything that he said and that Stan has said, when I've been together with both of them, they've always delivered. And then he goes on to say, we want to take the club to the next level and compete really with the top teams. In order to do that, we have to be playing in the Champions League. We have to be able to evolve the team, improve our players, improve all departments, generate even more connection with our fans, improve the atmosphere at the Emirates, be able to recruit top talent and the best people for this club to drive this project to that level. So those were the words that he sort of said. And then there was also some quotes that came from Josh Kroenke. He said, that my father and I are delighted to have extended both Mikel and Jonas contracts. It provides stability and clarity for the future and helps us to move forward together effectively. Mikel's commitment and passion are clear for everyone to see. We're confident as we move forward, he will get us back into competing for the top trophies in the game. And then Edu, what Edu said, he said, I think the timing's perfect. I really believe the message will be a big lift to everyone, to the fans, to the club, to the players, to Mikel. It's important to show everyone where we want to go as a club. We are going to face a big summer again, and it's important to have our manager here. So that's just some of the quotes from some of the main players. But yes, it's official. Brand new contracts for Mikel Arteta and Jonas Eidevall. But in particular, the one that's interesting a lot of people is the Arteta one. I want to get your comments coming in on it as well.
Definitely, it's good. And we're going to want to hear from you guys, especially obviously Arteta as well. After signing this contract, did an interview himself to talk about the re-sign of his extension, which we'll get to towards the end of the show. But yeah, we're going to get into it, Robbie. First, before we hear from the people in the comments, people watching this, I'll go back to that first question. Are you happy to see Mikel Arteta sign a 3-year extension?
I am, yeah. I am. Listen, contracts, right? At the end of the day, if Mikel Arteta bombs next season, the contract won't mean nothing. All it will mean is that he probably get a better payoff when he leaves, right? That's the reality of football. But I do think it makes sense to give Mikel Arteta a new contract because how I look at it and reading between the lines of all the things they've said, their target that they set him this season was probably get us back into European football, which is basically top 6. Get us back at least into the Europa League, right? He's done that. Whatever happens between now and the end of the season, we're going to be playing Europa League football next season, right? So he's hit his target. Obviously, the players are playing for him, and the players are behind him. He's made some big decisions this season, but so far it looks like those are going to work out in his favour. And he's got a chance of even exceeding, I feel, what they would have targeted him at, of getting into the top 4.
Yeah.
There is also been rumours that there's some other clubs sort of fishing around and asking about him, and again, they sort of, you know, intimated that in what they were saying. So for me, it makes sense to sign him up to a new contract.
All right, no, fair enough.
So I mean, I know there's been a lot of people who've been saying things like the timing.
So we're gonna get into that now, because obviously we saw Jonas signed his extension as well. Funny enough, after the North London derby and the women's team, this one Arteta getting his one before the North London derby, and a lot of the timing was being put under scrutiny because obviously there was rumours that Arteta was going to re-sign a deal back in January. You did a transfer daily about it, saying there's been rumours he's going to get a 2-year extension back in January, but now he signed a 3-year extension. The timing is what everyone's kind of going to. So I went out on the streets and went on and did Ask the Fans, and I spoke to the fans and asked, if we don't get top 4, where will you stand with Mikel Arteta? How would you feel? Do you think he still deserves to stay as the manager of Arsenal? And 99% said, yeah, I'm happy with the improvements so far, the philosophy, the culture, the signings he's brought in. So they were happy. I'll be intrigued to hear how you think about the timing. Does it matter if it was before the North London derby? Does it matter if before we get into top 4 is solidified, or do you think this timing's a bit strange?
Well, going back to what you said, when they were talking about the original contract right back in January, I thought the timing of that was wrong. I'm like, no, you can't be talking about giving someone a new contract when we don't know what's going to happen between now and the end of the season. Where I want to see where we end up, right? And for me, when I look at this season, at the start of the season, when I looked at the teams that we're up against to try and get into, say, the top 4, I looked at it honestly and I said, listen, Man United have got a better team than us, so have Chelsea, so have Man City, so have...
Spurs got a new manager, so people said the manager, for Spurs.
So of Liverpool. So I was like, being realistic, if Arsenal get in the top 4, he would probably have overachieved.
Right.
So, my target was top 6. That's what I was like, he has to get into the top 6. If he doesn't get in that top 6, I feel we need to look at a new manager, because, he would have had 2 8th place finishes. Then, to be out of the top 6 again, possibly not be in Europe for 2 seasons in a row, a club like Arsenal, nah, that's unthinkable.
Are we being naive though? Because he had no European football midweek, so shouldn't his target only have been, when we got out of the cups, the rest of the cups, his target should have been top 4. Are we being...
No, I don't think so. I think you've got to be realistic and look at the teams that are in front of him and the squads they've got and the squads that we had, right? So I remember a lot of the players that we bought in, even at the start of the season, people looking at it and saying, how's Ramsdale going to do? How's Ben White going to do? How's this player, that Tomiyasu? They've all done brilliantly. So I looked on it and I said, realistically, probably 6th place finish is what he needs. Otherwise, so the timing was wrong when they were looking at it, I thought, earlier on, right? However, the timing for me now is right. I think they've done a very, very smart move by announcing it now, because you can imagine a lot of people have kind of reset their targets now, because a lot of people are like, well, yeah, maybe top 6 before, but listen, now that we're knocking on the top 4, we want top 4. Now, you imagine if they said, right, they're going to announce it at the end of the season, but Tottenham pipped us for that top 4 position. Fans are going to be unhappy about that. No matter, I don't care what people are saying now.
I don't know, Rob.
Listen, I don't care.
I don't know. There will be a section.
What people are saying to you now, if Tottenham pipped us for that top 4, I'm not saying that. I don't think no one's going to be talking about sacking him.
Okay, cool.
But people will be unhappy probably about him getting a 3-year extension, right? By doing it now, no one's moaning. It's clean. The players know that he's going to be in charge. There's even players there, you've got to think about these sort of things. There's players there that possibly might stay now. El Neni might stay.
Yes.
Eddie Nketiah might stay.
Xhaka might stay.
Possibly even a Lacazette or somebody like may decide to, it gets rid of a lot of the uncertainty, because he's the guy in charge. So I have no problem with the timing of this. I know I've spoken to a couple of people this morning and they're like, no, we're not saying that he shouldn't get it, but we should have waited. To me, I don't think you needed to wait. Just give him the new deal.
I'd have liked to have waited personally. I'd have liked to have waited.
What do you think to that?
It may not have made a massive difference, but for me as a fan, I would like to have seen how, you know, we overcome the North London derby. If we have getting top 4 next season, I would prefer to have waited. It doesn't make a massive difference because, like you said there, regardless or not, it's his team. They're playing for him. If I'm honest, there's not really managers on the market right now that I want to see come into this Arsenal side.
Exactly, and if there are clubs asking about him, it's just best to tie him down. And as I said, you know, if he was to be bomb out next season, you know what the business is like. It's not an Arsenal thing. This is a football thing. You know what I mean? That contract can be cancelled. You know. So let me just before you read those comments, I'll do a couple of super chats because there are loads coming in. Vedi 1987 says, "Good morning from Philly. Very glad that Arteta has signed because from day one he addressed the culture of the team. I believe the results will follow. Bless up." So he's very happy with that. 13 Jacob Jones 7 says, "Arteta is the right man. And if he was gone, who would come in?" Right? Owen Campbell says, "Can we confirm?" So he's with you. Owen Campbell says, "Can we confirm top 4 first before we hand out contracts?" I don't know the man. Don't jump the gun with these things. Look at Pep, thinking he'd won the Champions League semi-final, and we saw what happened. JM26 says it's Ollie part 2. Mark T says, well deserved to be honest. He's changed the culture of the club and has bonded with many. He's been bold with many of his decisions. By the way, have you heard that Arsene said that Unai unfairly treated by Arsenal? Thoughts on that? And for me, Arteta has shown progress, and I think he's right. If we finished 2 seasons in the 8th place,
right?
And now this season, we could potentially finish top 4, but we're going to finish minimum in the European places when we had no European football last year. That's progress.
Was that due to the standards of the league this season?
Doesn't matter.
Other teams?
Doesn't matter. He showed.
We are so far
have you seen progress? Have you seen progress?
No, I have. I have seen progress.
You've seen progress, and we've finished, and we're going to finish at least by minimum into the top 6. And we could possibly get top 4, and you know what I mean. He's all right talking about this manager that he could finish He could finish higher than Conte, the great Conte that Tottenham have brought in. Who, don't get me wrong, he is an elite manager, but he could finish higher than Conte.
Okay. No. All right. Listen, we're gonna discuss this. We're gonna come back to. Let me just finish off this section on the timing quickly with Arteta's comments on the timing of the announcement. It will come up on your screen right now. It says Arteta said the club was really eager to do it as quickly as we could. Obviously, they showed a lot of faith and belief in what we're doing, and they thought the best moment was to do it right now, to give a final push to the team and to give some clarity about what we have to do in summer in the future. It's a way of saying, listen, from both ways, we believe in what we are doing and we want to commit to this project together. So that's kind of it, just there, rounding off there on the timing. Like they said there, they want to get it done out the way as soon as possible. And it kind of does send a message. Listen, this is what we're doing with the future. We're sticking with Mikel Arteta and we believe what he's doing is the right thing. So let
me ask you something, because you said you think we should have waited till the end of the season. So if he didn't get top 4, what are you saying? Then you get rid of him?
I wouldn't. I would never say. I wouldn't be like Arteta out. But I think there will be a conversation. Listen, there'll be a conversation there to say, well, let's literally look through and dissect everything that went on this season. Considering how other teams have failed this season, should we be considering a new manager? Being out of 2 cups as well this season, which I think we bailed out with terribly. There have been some decisions that, you know, went kind of against Arteta that I would want to question. I haven't got the answer right now to say.
You're going around the houses, right? I'll ask you a simple question. Would you get rid of the manager at the end of the season?
I know what you're doing here.
If we didn't get into the top 4, you're in charge. Mm-hmm. Would you get rid of him?
We probably would end up being 5th. No.
Then what's wrong with giving him a contract now?
Because I think it's only right. But it's only right to have to wait to see.
Well, you can have the conversation now.
Yeah, but no.
Wait to achieve what?
To see if we achieve top 4. If we don't, I think
but you just said that even if he didn't achieve top 4,
for me personally, but there is going to be a large section of people.
You just said that if he doesn't achieve top 4, you wouldn't sack him. So what's wrong with giving him the contract now?
Because it might be too pre-done. It might be, we have to see what happens the rest of the season.
I just said I'll give him the contract. You just said you're going to give him a new.
But there'll be a conversation to be properly had to see.
Yeah, you can have your assessments and that at the end of the season. You can sit, if we didn't get top 4, you could sit down and say, listen, let's talk, man. We should really have got top 4, but I mean, how do we improve it? But at the end of the day, if you're saying now that you think he should get a new contract, well, why not give it to him now?
But it would build a case. If you didn't get top 4, it would build a case going forward to say, boy, listen, you're now on a real thin ice, Mikel Arteta. Obviously 2-8 finishes, didn't reach the top 4 when you had it really in your hands. You bottled it.
But you're still going to keep him after saying all that.
It'd be a less of an extension.
Could say all that anyway.
It'd have been a less of an extension. It would have been a 3-year. Might be, and like I said, there'll be more pressure on him to go into next season. And I'll be like, well, if he doesn't start clicking straight away, we'll be looking at assessing for a new manager straight away. That would be my thing. But if he gets top 4, which is in our hands, then all this conversation wouldn't need to happen.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I see what you're doing.
Sitting on the fence here, you know what I mean? Andrew Davies here with a super chat. He says, Arteta has done a madness. If Liverpool beat Spurs and we beat Leeds, then all we need is 3 draws and we have got the top 4. He has improved the players a lot. Mr. Costello says 8th and possibly 4th earns a new contract. People says he hasn't qualified for Europe, but he hasn't been in charge when we didn't. Can't we wait a bit? I'm not quite sure what he means by that. People says we haven't qualified for Europe, but wasn't he in charge when we didn't? Okay.
Oh, we do,
can't we wait? Well, I'm asking you, Mr. Costello, just like I'm asking Cecil here. What are you waiting for? What? So if he doesn't get top 4, you're saying he should be gone?
There'll be a majority of the fan base that would think that, because it is in our hands. It's all these big decisions. I do see I see both sides. If you don't get it, I see the frustration. I see why fans will say, listen, we need a new manager. But I also say, listen, there's not an available manager that I'd want to come in and take over this process when it's pretty much all Mikel Arteta. So all the eggs are in this basket. That's why I have such conflicting views on. Yes, I'd say stick with him, but he'll be on major thin ice.
Suggestion 56, another super chat here, says, good move. It was always going to happen. Finish the minimum of Europa League with Champions League ahead of schedule, and has Laturo and Jesus coming in. I don't know why anybody would say it's controversial. AMT says, he's after all fighting against Conte, Moyes, Rangnick, Lage, all experienced managers, yet Arsenal has guaranteed Europe.
I've liked what I've seen from Arsenal this season. Listen, there's not to say that we haven't progressed. We definitely have. Rob, I want to ask you, is Mikel Arteta the long-term answer to Arsenal? For you, do you see enough to say, you know what, in a few seasons we'll be challenging for that Champions League?
Only time will tell.
Right? No, you can't start doing political answers. Don't start giving me that. Give me the answer.
That's factual.
I asked you a question.
That's factual. It's not political.
Believe he is the long-term answer as a manager?
That's factual. Listen. For me, Mikel Arteta this season has done some really good things. He's also made some mistakes along the way. But at the end of the day, if this guy gets 4th place this season, right?
Yeah.
I'm putting my faith in him. I'm saying, well, you know what? You've overachieved this season. You deserve to carry this club forward. It's just like when he came in, we finished 8th that season. Remember that, yeah? But you won the FA Cup. To me, I looked on it, I said, you deserve the next season. You definitely deserve to carry this team forward. The next season we finished 8th. It was a really disappointing season. But I looked on it, I was like, no fans. There was a lot of, I was like, you're kind of trying to get to grips with things. All right, 8th is not good enough. No, Europe is not good enough, but I wouldn't sack you yet. You need to show me now what you're going to do this season. This season now, he's got us back into Europe in the Europa League and has a chance of getting us back into the Champions League.
Yep.
He deserves the chance to take this team forward for the next few years. Yes. He definitely, at this moment in time, he deserves to take the team forward for the next few years. How can you know what I mean?
No, I get that. You've changed the question. Is he the long-term? Is he the long-term answer?
But long-term, only time will tell, innit? Because how can I say long-term? He could have an absolute stinker all the next season, and long-term he wouldn't. But at the moment, what I'm seeing progress. You're seeing progress.
I am.
We go into games, right? the fans are behind him.
Correct.
When was the last time all the fans were behind a manager? The fans, I'd say, 90% of the fans are behind Mikel Arteta, right? He's recognised that he's got to try and bring fans together. There's been a couple of decisions he's made that I've been like, I'm not been too happy on those, but he's the manager. He knows what he's doing. And you know what? Even like the Aubameyang one, which I was like, Mikel, why have you got rid of a striker but not replaced him?
Yeah.
But if he gets top 4, he would have been vindicated for that because, he took a gamble in doing that. He was trying to bring in Vlahovic. He took a gamble and he would have got top 4. So just the same way we criticise sometimes and say, it's your fault because you should have done blah, blah, blah. If it comes off, you've got to say you took a calculated risk and it's come off. Now build in the summer. And, the other thing as well, where I'm going to give him credit for, is the signings. Look at the signings that he made last season. Not everybody's kettle of fish, those signings, when they came out at the time. Aaron Ramsdale, a lot of us were like, what? Why are we signing Ramsdale for? We got Leno. He's a decent keeper. Why do we need? That's worked, right? Ben White's worked. Tomiyasu's worked. You know what I mean? These have all been really good signings. Sambi Lokonga, one for the future. Nuno, we know he's erratic, one for the future. But on the whole, the signings have been good.
Yeah, the lack of signings in January would have been his argument. But if he reaches top 4...
I would have loved to have seen signings in January. But what I'm excited to see now is what is he going to do this summer? And what I would say is now that the owners have backed him, the Cronkies have backed him.
Everyone's backed him.
Let's see you back him in the summer, in the transfer market. Give the guy the money to go out there and get a couple good strikers. Get a good midfield player and strengthen that defence a bit more as well. And then you never know. You never know what we could do. I mean, we're not Man City or Liverpool yet. We're still off of them, but we're making I want to see progress. You're not going to get to them teams overnight, but you've got to progress towards getting there. So, of course, I would give them a new deal.
You trust the process.
At the moment,
you're fully trusting the process.
At the moment, right, you've got to look on it and say to yourself, he is making progress. So, I'm...
So that's a yes to the long-term answer, because you didn't give me a yes or no answer. You made me give you a yes or no answer.
I will say at the moment, no, because if it was me, I'd give him a new contract. So I'd be saying yes.
Okay.
For the next 3 years, you're our guy. However, what I'm trying to say is in football, we know how this thing works. If he was like Emery, innit? He started the season horribly. You know what I mean? Remember, they gave Emery a couple of votes of confidence. Right, and he flopped, and you had to change it. So it's no different to Arteta to any other manager in the Premier League.
Yeah,
is he? Is he?
Yeah, I think no, he's done well since
he's done well. He won the Europa League last year, but this year he's probably going to be. He could finish out of all European places. Unai Emery, he could finish out of all European places because I think they're 7th or 8th in their league, right? They've been knocked out of the Champions League. They did well. But I thought the other night, I saw one of the reasons why Emery got sacked at Arsenal. And that he's 2-0 up. He's doing really, really well. You know what I mean? They're playing good. They're on the front foot. And then in the second half, he just went on the back foot. He's like, let's hold on to this.
That's what he does.
Which he used to do a lot at Arsenal. And that's why they went out, in my opinion. But, Mark T, a couple more. So you guys are really getting involved in this. Love this. Mark T says, for me, put all of the top 4 aside. He made a lot of changes along the way, getting rid of Deadwood and starting fresh. He finally has his squad. Owen Campbell says, Cecil, I guarantee you, Robbie going to change his tune if we don't make top 4. Robbie smoking bush. I won't change my opinion, even if we don't. I will be very disappointed if we don't get into the top 4.
I know
but I would still say for where Arsenal at the start of the season, right, with the team that we got in comparison to all the teams around us, getting back into Europa League is what I would have expected of my manager, and he would have done that.
It's just mad to think after the Southampton game how we felt. I remember speaking with you were vexed and how it's just how things have just changed. And
he's turned it around.
It's incredible.
He's turned it around in the toughest games.
It's mad. It's
Chelsea,
mad.
Man United. You know what I mean? He's turned it around
West
in those.
Ham, even West
Ham away. You know, he's turned it around in the toughest games, man. That shows you something that he's got something about him.
Yeah.
You know.
Mark T. If we go there, we've got a super chat there from Mark T. Says, for me, put all...
oh yeah, I've done that one. Yeah.
We've got quite loads coming. Thank you everyone for sending in your super chats as well. Big up. I see some regulars in the chat as well. Thank you for joining and getting your opinions. And that debate that me and Robbie had there, I want to throw out to you guys as well. Is he the long-term answer? Is he... I know it's a tough question because we know how football is, but you know, we saw, I'm not comparing him to Klopp, but we saw Klopp finish 8th and then the next season go on and finish 4th, and then the rest is kind of history of Liverpool.
It is a building process, isn't it?
It does take time, and like you said, everyone has backed Mikel Arteta, and what I've seen, I'm going to be honest, what I've seen, I've enjoyed. I enjoy the style of play that I'm seeing right now. The only thing I criticise is we're not scoring enough. That comes with a killer striker, which we may see in the summer.
In the summer now, as I said, you know what I mean, they've got to get the right players in and they've got to back him. We need to, I mean, I keep hearing Mikel Arteta say it, and he's right. We need to add some real quality to this team now, you know what I mean? Some real talk. And also, if we do get into the Champions League, we're going to need to add quite a lot of players. Yeah. Because like you made a good point. I mean, we played a lot of... this season, just one game a week. Yep. It's not going to be like that now. We're going to be, you know, a bit like what you saw with West Ham, you know, last week, where they didn't strengthen their squad, and when they're out of the Europa League now, and then when they played against us, you could see they looked tired in a lot of that game because they just ain't got the squad. So strengthening the squad is going to be very, very important.
And Arteta previously in the Europa League, when he had the midweek games, he did complain about how tough the fixtures are. Yeah. With a young squad as well, they're going to be fatigued. We've got, I think, the youngest squad in the league. Yeah, we do. That's another thing that you've got to give Arteta credit for. The youngest team in the league could get into the top 4. I mean, there's definitely reasons to give him new deals. Oh, sorry, obviously Kieran says, failed in the Europa League twice and finished 8th twice, and you'd still keep him. Madness, Robbie. You got to look at it. You got to look at the whole picture of the season as well. I'm not. It's definitely not madness. It's definitely not madness because he has achieved a lot this season. Yes, there's been some questionable stuff.
And sorry, I'm doing it through. Kenny Phillips says Arteta in. It was always going to happen. The Cronkies are in support of Arteta and the long-term plan. Even if Arsenal don't get top 4, the Cronkies have put more focus on Arsenal. Well, that I will see in the summer if they really have, right? Because that is, for me, is going to be a big indicator. All right, they give him 150 million to spend last summer, but I'm very interested. I think they need to give him more this summer if we are to go into the Champions League and try. Because you know what? Try and do something in the Champions League if we get into that.
Yeah, we don't want to be a yo-yo. We don't want to be a club that just goes in and then comes back out next season.
But try and go in there and try and look how far Villarreal got.
Yeah, true.
And they got like, you know, Capoue and you know, Coquelin, Foyth. So, you know, and Peace and Love says, it's official. AFTV are cronky in as the ambition comes from above, as Arteta says.
Do they know Turkish is on the bottom of
Do you know this whole thing about, listen, bro, I am Arsenal in. That's what I am. Right? I want to see this team competing to win the league. That's what I want to see. And through Mikel Arteta at this moment in time, I'm seeing progress. However, I'm not saying everything is rosy. And as I said, in the summer, a lot needs to be added. Yeah. A lot needs to be added. And I want to see quality coming into this team. Because if we can get top 4 with the team that we've had, right, you know, what if we add a bit of quality? What if we make the team more consistent? Some of those games we lost this season, typically those 3 that we look at there, the Palace, Southampton, Brighton. What if we had a bit of better quality in those games? You know, we'd already be in the top 4. You know what I mean? We'd be comfortably.
No, 100%. You know, so do you like the style of play from Arsenal currently? Are you enjoying what you're seeing?
I think so. I think the style of football's been good, but I think I feel that if he had some better players, we might even be a bit more exciting going forwards. But, you know, I like the fact... What I like about Mikel Arteta as well is that he and what we haven't seen in the past, say, for instance, under Arsene Wenger, who was obviously a great manager, great attacking manager. Yeah. But what Arsene Wenger used to do a lot is just that he had one way of playing. I saw last week, for instance, when we played West Ham, we didn't play well. I thought we wasn't good at all, right? But I like the game management. Towards the end of the game, we slowed it down a bit, you know what I mean? Couple of fouls, couple of, you know what I mean? Things that other teams do sometimes to manage games. I saw us do that and just eke out those 3 points. That's good management that I've not seen for quite a while. But I'm just saying I would like to see some better players come in. You know what I mean? I want to see a better midfield. I want to see a better forward line, you know?
Does that,
and then what could we do?
Does that worry you though, Rob, the fact that, you know, Arteta is going to be the answer for the long term? Xhaka's probably going to want to stay because Arteta is Xhaka's guy. Xhaka's Arteta's guy. So, and also I want to ask you as well on that, like again, with the players being burnt out, we see Saka play week in, week out. Next season, you're going to have to strengthen, like you said, but it always, I'm thinking about Arteta, you know, going forward. Is he really going to be the guy? Is there any doubts for you? Sorry, let me say. Is there any doubts
Only time will tell. He's a young manager. He's up and coming. Let's see, right? You know what I mean? This is the thing. Like we'll give chances to young managers if they come from abroad. So if it was Nagelsmann, everybody would be like, yeah, come on, give him a chance. You know what I mean? He hadn't won nothing really, had he? You know what I mean? He was just like showing, you know, great football and stuff like that.
Yeah, good philosophies and stuff.
Ten Hag at the moment, who United are about to, or well, United are taken as their new manager. Yeah. He's done well in the Dutch league. Yeah, but let's be real, in that league, right? We don't know what he's going to do, but his philosophy and everything seems good, right? It's the same with Arteta. So, you know, if he gets into the top 4, especially, come on, I mean, he would have. You've got to pat him on the back and say, well done.
No, you do. I worry about the big personalities. That's the only thing I worry about Mikel Arteta. Can he handle big personalities coming into this Arsenal side? Of course.
You know what? This has been a mixed bag, hasn't it?
It has. But how is he going to deal with that? I want big signings. I want to see a big striker come in. But can he handle that sort of player? I know he was linked to Ivan Toney, and people were questioning whether his arrogance or his attitude may not rub up well with Mikel Arteta. Like, are we going to see players coming in that are hidden gems that he has to kind of work towards Arteta's style, or are we going to get the big players that I think this Arsenal side deserve to?
I think it's about the right profile of player. Sometimes it's not about how big the player is. Is that player going to fit what, you know, he wants? I always thought from day one, Aubameyang being captain, he's not a captain. Right. Let him play. He's a free spirit. Let him just play his football. Right. I always thought that was a mistake from day one. But you know, to me, listen, he deserves a chance, right? I definitely think I have no problem with him right now getting this contract. Ryan2596 says back-to-back 8th place. Is that no? I ain't done it yet. Back-to-back 8th place finishes.
He's been brought up.
Robbie and Cecil, you guys know I said I wanted Arteta out, even if we finish 4th. Like, why would we give him a new contract? It's just rewarding failure for me, sadly. If he gets 4th.
I know who that is.
Do you, Rye2596, do you expect then Arsenal to finish above City? Did you expect them to finish above Liverpool? Be real. Do you expect them at the start of this season to finish above Chelsea? How would 4th be failure? I'm sorry, no way.
No way.
No way could that be classed as failure. That is an overachievement. Ash says, big up Don Robbie, by far the most balanced Arsenal voice out there. Never leave the seat, mate. The silent majority needs you. And James says, Robbie, does it worry you that if we are going to go the project route similar to Liverpool, that Arteta doesn't have the pull of Klopp? Well, he's not a Klopp, you know what I mean? There's no one's a Klopp right now. Klopp is an unbelievable manager. But, you know, maybe he can build towards getting, you know, near to that. I mean,
there's no sign to say
there's no other Klopps out there. If there was a Klopp out there, I get it. You know what I mean? Just, let's go and get him. But there's no Klopp or Guardiolas that I can see out there at the moment. Look at United. You know, they've been looking everywhere for a manager. People said Pochettino, he ain't really done that great at PSG. Ten Hag, wait to see what he does in this league.
Yeah,
it'll
be interesting.
Haynes says, I love that Arteta is tactically flexible. We played with a back 3 against Chelsea, one ugly against West Ham, and went toe-to-toe with City.
He makes a point. I hope we just don't see Arteta sign his contracts and start doing some crazy stuff, because I've seen many a times where players sign contracts and then they won't turn up to training the next day or they do something stupid. But I'm sure Arteta will be, focused on that.
Corey Blakey, sorry, there's so many comments coming in. Corey Blakey says, people are saying won't back him if we don't finish 4th. First 3 games of the season, we was looking at finishing in the top 10. He turned it around and has done well. Back the guy. There are a lot of people forget that people talking about relegation, right? We could have had Ten Hag before United did, says obviously Kieran. Arteta has achieved his goals. Simple. New contract is deserved. Says Alex Jones. I don't understand. All right, this is one for you. Aditi Sharma says, I don't understand other teams' failing concept, Robbie. Chelsea finished top 4 with 66 points in the last 3 years. We will be higher. Now, I heard you making that point that, yeah, but almost like you were sort of saying it's only because the other teams around us have...
Right. The way the league has been this season is why we're...
Yeah, I'm with this guy. I don't understand that point either.
Well, no, it's just obviously how the league has been this season. The teams that we expected, like United, they spent the most in the window. They got the highest wages. Like everyone expected at the start of the season them to be challenging for the title. That hasn't happened. The likes of West Ham, I think we would have thought. Everyone didn't expect Arsenal to be in this top 4 race. West Ham, same. They progressed. They've shown more ambition. Same with the likes of like Leicester's, the Tottenham's getting a new manager and whatnot. No one expects us to be where we are. And
we are.
Yeah, I know. And people say, well, that is an excuse for this season. Have we got lucky? We took advantage of that.
We haven't got lucky.
No.
Have we got lucky?
We not took an advantage of the other teams' mishaps this season and got in this position, or would you just say no? That's just how they played the best season.
Those other teams ain't been as good as us.
Okay.
That's how you have to look on it. Well, you could do that every season then. So, oh yeah, well, you know, you think Real Madrid, they could turn around and say, well, because of the mishaps of PSG and the mishaps of Man City and the mishaps of we got to the final of the Champions League. No, they've been better. When it's counted, they've turned up. It's the same with Arsenal.
Yeah,
they've been better than the teams. You know what I mean? Arsenal have been better than Man United.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, Man United may have been poor, but we've been better than them. We've been more consistent than Manchester United.
Yeah, the table shows that as well.
We've been better than them. Even when they beat us in that game, we played better than them at their place, and we beat them at home. We've been better than them, even with all the resources and players that they've got. Yeah, so you know,
listen. I hear what that person. I thought their name there is that. Listen, I'm just giving the full picture of what other arguments will be. Trust me, in my opinion...
I'm not too sure about this one. Micah C, I think he's getting a little bit carried away. Right? So he says, long term, I'd take Mikel Arteta over Pep and Klopp. He says, I will be proved right. Mark my words. Robbie, actually. Mark my words, right? I think, you know... Yeah, you're taking it a bit too far now.
No, the thing is, listen,
if you're right, mate, trust me, we're happy days, you know?
My opinion right now, I'm happy Arteta's got his extension. He deserves it. I always want to give the full context and full picture, but my personal opinion, he definitely deserves it. I think going forward, nothing's to say though. I know you said there about Pep and Klopp. Nothing's to say that he is a new manager, that he could go on and do really well for this side. It could be the long-term answer. There's no proof that he can't be, and what I've seen so far, we've been happy with.
Obviously, Kieran, the Premier League has been awful since Leicester won the league. Only Liverpool, City and United have broken the 80 points barrier. I disagree with you again. The Premier League is strong. That's why it's so hard. Those two teams there are the standout, you know,
Man City,
Liverpool, Man City. They're the standout teams, right? But the other teams, I mean, there's so many teams that can take points off you. That's what makes it so much different to the other leagues. You know what I mean? You look at the players that a team like Aston Villa have got at their disposal. Like, you look at every team has got internationals right throughout their team. You know what I mean?
Every top
You look
player
at the fact that the team that come third in the Premier League last year won the Champions League and won the Super Cup. You know what I mean? This is the most competitive league in the world.
Facts. And every top player wants to come and play in the Premier League. Premier League is, I disagree with that. Premier League is the top tier and the best league there is.
Outrun here saying, Cecil, we're not going to reach what Klopp and Pep have achieved with zero trust. The players believe, the owners believe, he's earned their trust. It's our turn.
Listen, I'm with it. I'm trusting Arteta. I trust the process. I just have to press on, Robbie, to see if he believes it.
You wouldn't even give him a new deal. No.
I said wait, just to see. I understand. Listen, I said I would give him the new deal, but I said just wait. I just want to see until the end of the season. I want to see where we end up. I want to have, conclusion.
And if we end up sixth?
We end up sixth. It's still Europa League. To me, it's no difference between end up sixth and fifth. So yes, I still would have given him a good deal.
Then what are you waiting for?
I just would have said wait.
Why are you waiting, man?
I just want to have a little bit of patience and just see where we
end
up.
What were you waiting?
No, I just think it'd been right.
You just said you're going to give him a new deal at the end of the season.
Yes.
Because if he finishes sixth, we're definitely going to finish sixth, right? So what are you waiting for?
I just think we should have waited to see till the end of the
Why?
season.
Give me a reason.
Then
Give me a good
you'd
reason.
have a nice list. If I went into there as the Kroenkes, I went into the meeting in the boardroom, I say, listen, you've achieved so much. If you got to fourth, we've seen the whole picture, guaranteed Champions League football next season. We've liked the philosophy, we've liked the things you've changed with the culture of the club. There's more reasons to say yes. And
as I'm saying, you don't understand. You're not understanding the PR of these things, right? The PR of these things is giving the contract.
That's what I disagree
No,
with.
but you're going to give him it anyway.
PR push.
No, hold on. You're going to give him it anyway.
So
wait a minute. You're going to give him it anyway,
yes.
right? So now it's a matter of when do we give it to him? That's all it is, yeah? Because he's definitely going to give it to him, yeah? Right? So when you're looking at it from a PR point of view, isn't it better to give it to him now? Rather than you say, right, well, wait, as I said at the top of the show, you wait until the end of the season. Let's just say, God forbid, we lose out in the top 4 to Tottenham, our deadliest rivals. How would people then be feeling? They'll be like, oh, why are we giving a deal? Well, he'd be all like that, even though we were going to give it to him anyway.
But then, Rob, if you look at the other side of it, and we beat Tottenham, and then he gets offered a new deal, think how amazing it would be for everyone.
Yeah, that's true. But at the moment,
I
feel that this has been well received. I don't feel there's many people that are saying out there don't give him the deal.
No, 100%.
So this is the right time to give it to him.
But I say if we beat Tottenham and we get top 4, if you give it to him, then how amazing that would be. If you're looking at PR, that's a better PR move for me.
No, but then what if he don't? And that's still a possibility. Listen, it's football. What if he don't?
If we lose to Leeds on Sunday, do you think there'll be uproar about him getting offered a free extension?
Yeah, of course. No, people are not. I don't think there will be now.
I was going to say, because
there won't be now. But I think if we lost to Leeds on Sunday and then on Monday they said he signed a new deal, what do you think the reaction is going to be? Yeah. We can turn around and say, it shouldn't be, no PR shouldn't be involved. Come on. PR is involved in this. If you're going to give it to him anyway, the only way I'd agree with you is if right, there's no certainty of getting in to the Europa League places right now, then I'll be like, that's what I said. When they said in January, I was like, how can you be talking about new contracts now? I want to wait until the end of the season. I want to wait until, I know if we get into that Europa League, new contract, right? Because that for me would have been the target. If at the moment, we're not even sure of that, you can't give no new deal.
The best timing would have been if we beat Leeds and they lost to Liverpool. That would have been, and that's when you should have done that. Personally, for me, that's when you should have done that. I think the timing's right now. But listen, everybody's mixed opinions. Either way.
Mixed opinions. Taj says should have waited until the end of the season. He's with you. He says as it stands, he's been rewarded a new deal for 2 8th place finishes and 1 FA Cup, which was played behind closed doors with no fans and a shield. Too soon.
Listen, regardless if I say too soon, I've said...
He doesn't mention the fact, right? He's not mentioned the fact that this season he's going to finish back in the Europa League places, something he hasn't actually done since he's been here. He's not finished any higher than 8th. Right, so he's not mentioned that, right? He's put the 2 8th place finishes, the FA Cup, the thing, but he's not mentioned that. He deserves a new deal. Saram says, Krishna says, Don Robbie, your Nigeria tour was awesome. Please come to India. There is a huge Arsenal fan base there too. The whole AFTV team will enjoy a visit to India. Well, I can tell you, it's in discussions. It's in discussions, Saram. We'd love to come to India. So, and yeah, Nigeria was absolutely brilliant. But yeah, we are looking at that. So
we'll keep you posted. We just spoke about the 2 8 finishes. Now, Arteta, like I keep speaking about, he did an interview after signing his contract. This will be coming on your screens now. Arteta did an interview and he spoke about on what he's achieved so far. His main target was to set and instill the values and respect of how everybody was going to represent this football club and how everybody was going to defend this football club and how we're going to transmit that to our people. The second one is to have a clear identity, how we are going to play and who we want to be and how we're going to do it. And I think that's now very clear, defined and supported by everybody. Listen, he's achieved his main 2 targets. You can see an identity from this side. You can see the philosophy and what he wants to represent, and everyone is kind of buying into it. He said the fans have got closer to him. I feel that every time I go to the home and away games, it's massively together. The players clearly playing for him, very much so. And the youth, the young Project Youth, I've enjoyed it. I do think we do need to strengthen in summer. That is key. We need to bring some experienced players in. We can't keep burning out the youngsters. I mean, we're relying on Saka a lot of the time. He's played pretty much every minute of every game. We do need to strengthen 100%. But what we've seen so far from this young team, that they've got fight. They're leading the way. They're doing well. Listen, can't complain. Challenging for top 4. Hopefully we'll be in Champions League football next season. For me, I kept saying this to people when they asked me my thoughts. These players deserve to be in the Champions League, the youngsters. They really do. And
I'm excited. I'd be really excited to see players like Saka in the Champions League. I really would be, you know what I mean? And I feel that if we add some real quality to this team, I mean, some of the players being spoken about, you know, Martinez from Inter Milan, if we can have another go at him, if we could get that across the line, who knows? Jesus, I think would be. I'd be happy with that. Not only that, but I'd be happy. I think he could fit, especially with how Mikel Arteta wants to play. You know, I do think we need a midfielder. You know what? I'd go and get if we got into the top 4. You know, I'd want to see Arsenal, and people are going to probably laugh at this, but if Arsenal get into the top 4, they should try and buy Declan Rice. That's my opinion.
Didn't you call him the idiot of the week?
He was the idiot of the week last week for grabbing at Eddie, but I still have him at Arsenal.
Alongside Partey would be
if
solid.
You had Declan Rice, Partey in that midfield, Odegaard, that's looking very tasty. You know what I mean? You know, you keep Xhaka in there as maybe a backup type, but to me, that's what I want to see. This is where I'm talking about the owners. They've got to back Mikel Arteta. They have to back him. It's all right the fans backing him, it's all right, but they have to back him. Now, I'm not saying Declan Rice will come, but I want to see players of that calibre. Because if we can get players of that calibre in the team, then we can start doing something. If we can get top 4 with this team, what can we do if we've got some proper, you know, top quality players in the team?
Well, how many
Calvin Phillips is another one, maybe. If Leeds go down, have a look at him.
How many signings, Rob, do you generally believe that, you know, Arsenal are going to make in summer? Because they said they've got the business done, they've all got it prepped, they've spoke to the agents, they're ready to, you know, deploy the players they want to bring in.
There's a lot of players leaving. Let's remember that, you know what I mean? There's
with Mikel Arteta sign a new deal, are they going to leave?
Maybe some of them might stay, but I'm thinking Nketiah, Lacazette, El Neni, who else? There's quite a few players with their contracts up. There's still like Maitland-Niles and Bellerin, all these guys, Guendouzi, they're all alone. Yeah. There's going to be about 5-6 players going through the door. We know Saliba's coming in. We're going to need another defender. Pablo Mari's another one. There's so many players leaving, right? So we need to buy a lot of players.
Yeah.
Out of all those players we buy, there needs to be at least 3 players of the highest quality coming into this team, in my opinion, if we are to compete. I think we're going to need a backup left back. I'd push Nuno further forward and play him even as more of a wing back or winger type player.
Yeah.
But I bring in a backup left back for Kieran Tierney. I think we're going to need another centre back to replace Pablo Mari. We're going to need.
Do you think Leno will move on? Do you think we need another?
Leno will move in. We've already got the keeper coming in, isn't we? We've got the Trusty, the American, right? We need another midfielder. We need another, as I said, a Declan Rice type player for me. We need, and then in the forward line, we need a target man striker, and then we need a couple of other forward players. I feel Pepe will move on as well in the summer. So there's going to be a lot. We need a lot. Honestly, it's a huge summer, big summer. Transfer daily. Keep it locked, man, because it's going to be a busy transfer daily this summer because we need so many players, and that is one thing they can't afford to get wrong.
Let's hope so, because in January I thought it was going to be a busy January, but listen, we saw a lot of people move.
They turned around and they said, listen, there's certain players that they wanted, they couldn't get. They don't want to go and get what they do. All right, fair enough, they've done that, but now this summer. Summer's different to January because there's a lot of players already in situ with their clubs. Now you can talk to them. We're going to see how much the Cronkies are backing Mikel Arteta. We need to make a couple. They're going to have to spend. They're going to have to make some big signings this summer. There's going to have to be a couple of signings that are going to be expensive signings. If we are to, especially if we get in the Champions League, because if we go into the Champions League with the current team, we won't last long. But if we go into the Champions League and add to the current team, real quality, you never know, man. We could get out of those groups and you never know how far we could get down into the competition. Yeah. So,
Any more?
I already did that one. Did I do that one? Oh no, ASN says, believe people need to remember that this is a process, and at the moment, we're way ahead of schedule. We weren't expected to get top 4 this season, and that says a lot. AMT says, could have discussed it with his players before he signed. Well, normally you sign first and then, you let the players work after. EJNOSTT says if fourth, he can go higher wage or flirt with the club. I'm not quite sure what he's saying.
I think he said he can negotiate, I don't know.
Negotiate a higher wage.
Yeah, and all that. But
well, he would have got more money. I'm not sure. They've not really said how much more money he's going to get under this new contract, but his money would definitely have gone up. Arteta has 20 wins this season. Tactically, Tommy 19. I don't really understand.
I don't know.
Dr. Viraj. Big up Dr. Viraj, man. I ain't heard from you from time, man. Listen. I remember we had him on some lives, man, and we got to get you back on some lives. He's absolutely brilliant. He is
wicked. He was saying if we come to India.
Dr. Viraj says, Robbie, if you come to India, you better come to Mumbai. Remember, you did invite me for a podcast on your channel during the pandemic. We did. And Dr. Viraj, listen, if we come to India, we are definitely linking you up.
Yep.
Because that guy, honestly, if you ever heard him speak when it comes to Arsenal, honestly, I think she was working at the club. He's so eloquent, you know what I mean?
This here where he says, ASN says, people need to remember, I think we're ahead of schedule. Vinay did say that. He said that in his press conference. He said that, we are ahead of schedule in Arteta's, reign. He's ahead of it, which is very interesting to say, especially when Edu kind of said what the target was at the start of the season. There was not a target. It did make sense that, it does make sense Arteta's getting an extension on his contract because he's overachieved, in my opinion. Tell me
this, I'll tell you this, says, let's hope that the likes of Leipzig, Lyon, Napoli, etc. don't qualify for the Champions League so we can lure some of their players in. Trailer Park TV says Osimhen, Jesus, Neves, Glittish, Hickey, Saliba, most definite incomings. Well, yeah, you've lined them all up already. I think some of those will come, and it'd be exciting. Harvey Betts said need to sign.
Wait. Arteta.
He wouldn't have got me anyway. I saw the last 2 words, so that's quite an old bait, man. You know what I mean? That's quite an old bait. Although someone did try to bait me. What language did they use? Somalian the other day. Tried to bait me in Somalian.
Oh, I heard.
Over on DR, right? But Fuad was there and saved me.
I was just going to quickly read the last graphic from Arteta's interview after signing his contract on how important the fans will be on this journey. He goes on to say, for me, there have been the tsunami of this project. For 2 seasons, we haven't had them. So with the way I want the team to play, with the balance we have established, I want people to lead this club in the way I believe we should be leading it. Without them was impossible to do it. So from the moment we have had them close to us, they have sensed and felt the energy that way, and that of now representing the club a much deeper level. That way of now representing the club to a much deeper level. Wicked. So he's just saying how happy he has been with the fans. So I've got to give it to him. He really has brought unity to the side. He really has.
I think he's always recognised that there needs to be a connection between the players and the fans, and I've liked that about him. Because that is a very important thing to do. And you see it when you go to games, home and away. There's a better connection. The fans are singing his name. There's a better connection between the players and the fans. Ramsdale and these guys, they come over at the end, they thank the fans in the right and proper way, and I think that's come from him.
Here's one thing we always argue about when we come on stream, Robbie. This All or Nothing documentary, you must be now feeling a bit excited for when this comes out. Start. Why are we screwing up your face, man?
No, I want to say.
I know what you're going to say. They're not going to show everything, but
they ain't.
I know, Rob, but look at the season as a whole.
No, listen. Do you know what with me, right? The All or Nothing documentary, I want to see it because it's going to for the insight behind the scenes,
right?
But for people who are expecting to see all these, some guy said to me the other day, we're going to see what really happened with Aubameyang. I say, you ain't seeing none. You will not see what really happened with Aubameyang. You'll see a little bit. But you would. I remember the Tottenham documentary. When you watch that, and remember they sacked Pochettino, and they literally spoke about it for like 2 minutes. And that was a guy who's been like a legend at their club. So
But you must be excited for it. Don't you
I'm going to be excited to see it behind the scenes. If we get into the top 4, it makes it a better documentary for me, because I want it to be a positive documentary. So, if we get into the top 4, especially like all the celebrations and people being happy around, I would love to see that. But I'm not expecting to see any sort of real mega insights or into because you can't really. When you think about it as football, you can't go and reveal too much.
No, of course not.
But it'd be interesting. I'll be interested to see.
Yeah, give him a bit more excited for it, because you was always he was like
I know how documentaries are made, so that's probably why. Let me go into a couple more. We're running out of time here. Hussein says Chelsea and United master plan work, gave Arteta a new contract, and now back to 8th next season. Arteta is not the manager to take us to the next level. He's done well to get top 4, but that's his ceiling. What's this? Chelsea and United master plan. So they wanted to be below. Well, United wanted to be below Arsenal this season. Come on, man. Chicken Drumstick says next AFTV tour should be of India. You guys have no idea the Arsenal fan base here. Expecting you guys in India soon. Okay, I've got that.
Yes.
And
any more?
Ma Tata United says. Don Robbie, not fair, just going to Nigeria. Tanzania is waiting for you. Oh, listen, man, we're coming.
Come around the globe. AFTV World Tour.
Talking of that, actually, let me just, I can say to people, this is exclusive. We're doing a watch party.
Oh, yes.
In England.
Yeah.
Right? Next week for the North London Derby, right? We're going to be doing a big watch party for that. It's going to be taking place at the Box Park in Shoreditch, right? So we give you more details of it over the next coming days, but it's going to be absolutely huge. That game, by the way. No matter what, you know what? If we both win this weekend, it's massive. If it turns out how we want it to, it's still massive.
It's still huge.
It's a huge game. I mean, obviously, we want them to lose to Liverpool. As Lee Judges said yesterday, every Gooner's a Scouser this weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and of course, we need to beat Leeds, which ain't going to be easy because they're fighting for their lives. But what a game that's going to be. That's going to be absolutely huge. I can't believe there's only a couple of games left now.
I know, only 4 games left, Rob.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's been a mad season. It's because of the roller coaster of a season it's been.
Yeah, and look at this now. Canby says, lost it. He said, AFTV's on Kroenke's payroll. So obviously they'll spin it. The whole Premier League is happy that Arteta will be Arsenal's next manager. Jesus.
Imagine if he was on the payroll of a billionaire, of a multi-billionaire. Boy,
Jesus. The thing is about it, even certain people, right, that like are not all, not really into Arteta.
Yeah.
You surely cannot deny that if he gets the top 4 this season, that he deserves to get a new deal. How could anybody say that? He doesn't deserve an extension. Remembering that, as I said right at the start of the show, new contracts in football, it's not something that's set in stone. All it means is, they put faith in you, they've increased your money, but if you don't do the business, you're going to be gone. That's how football works.
It doesn't make sense. The people that are not Team Arteta right now, I'm not saying Team Arteta, but not on his side. What do you think is going to happen? Is there a manager out there that can come into this club and then do any better, in my opinion?
Vlatko says, Rob, sorry, but a season without European competition, top 4 is not an overachievement. Well, I'm sorry, I disagree with you. Remember the teams, remember the squads that those teams have. I'm sorry. This season, it will be an overachievement. Tevin Thomas says, big up the Don. Jamaica is waiting. Yeah, man, I've got to come there too. Yeah, we have to do some traveling.
Some world tours, boy.
We have to do some traveling. We will be over there in Florida for when Arsenal do that tour over there. So looking forward to that. And I'm going to do just a couple more
It is interesting, Rob, though, the mixed opinions in the comments, though, but on this contract extension and how...
Yeah, no, listen.
Because majority are... I think, like I said, I went and spoke to the fans for Arsenal fans, and everyone seemed happy for him to get a new deal or stay, be, you know, the manager for the next couple of seasons.
There are obviously some people... I mean, even this guy says, I like your positivity, Robbie. Plaman says, not like some other negative YouTubers, supporters. Listen, every supporter is entitled to their opinion, right? And some... I know there are some people who are saying that they don't think he's deserving of this new contract. I'm giving you my opinion, right? That I'm saying, and this goes right back to the start of the season, when I looked at the teams in front, you know, in and around us, I'm like, you know what? It's not, I want to get top 4, but let's be real. United have got a better team than us. So have Chelsea, so have United. So have City, so have Liverpool. If you know, so getting a top 4 is going to be really difficult. Leicester have got a good team. Tottenham, they've been finishing higher than us season in, season out, right? That's 6 teams there. You looked at teams like Villa, you're like, they're going to be decent this season. Everton, I can't believe it, but Everton was one, you know what I mean? He's done a good job this season, you know what I mean? I still think there's a lot of faults. We've lost too many games, for sure.
We've got out of cup competitions
but
as
we've
well.
had a very, very young side, right? And I think if D gets into the top 4, that is an overachievement this season, right? It's an overachievement. But what does he do going forward? That's what we want to see. What does he do in the summer? That's what we want to see. But certainly, if you're the owners of the club, it is right, I feel, to back the manager and say, right, you've got us back into European football. We're going to back you in the summer. Now, over the next couple of years, we want to be challenging for the league.
Been more good than bad for you then this season for Mikel?
More good than bad. Yeah, more good than bad, definitely.
That was kind of a nice, like, you know, closing statement for me as well as a fan. I agree. I think it's more than just where he positioned in this league. It's more about, like I said, him bringing the fans together, the players. I buy into these players so much. The young side. It's more than just the football. It's the whole context of what he's trying to do with this club and bring us back, really. So yeah, I'm happy. He deserves it. He definitely deserves the extension for me.
Yeah, but just not now. According to you.
He could have waited just a little bit, but still the same decision would have been made for me. But he could have waited. I want to see after North London derby and we get that full spot.
One last one here from Shref. He says, amazing stuff from Arsenal. No wonder the owner spoke earlier. We put great building blocks, but we need to get to the next level.
We do.
And big coach to help us. Right, so
it takes time though as well. It does. It's going to take time. It's not going to be a next season thing.
Yeah. Thanks very much for tuning into this live. Don't forget to subscribe here to AFTV. Like this video, but it's official. Mikel Arteta and Jonas Eidevall, who's the manager of the women's team, have both been given contract extensions. Mikel Arteta for the next 3 years, and if he's successful over those next 3 years, hopefully. This will be a team that's challenging for the biggest prizes in football, which is where this football club wants to be and deserves to be and has to be. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.